this debate. So this issue and this transaction is quite complex that most ordinary Papua New Guineans wouldn't understand. So let me try and assist them understand the key issues of this transactions. Mr. Speaker, on the 26th of March 2014, there was a negotiation going on between Total, a major French oil and gas company, top-tier company in the globe, and between Intoil over its equity or interest in PRL 15. Following those negotiations, Total and Intoil reached an agreement to purchase 40.1% of the license at an agreed price of $401 million US. That was the agreed market price at that time. At the time, Oil Search, not having any shares or any interest in that license, as it has in all the other licenses in PNG, were looking for a backdoor entry into the project, and with it to bring its other partner, Exxon. So they didn't have enough money to buy back in, and the other issue is they had no equity to exercise its rights. So they came up with a scheme to discuss with the former Prime Minister on how they can get access into that license. One of the conditions for Total to enter into the agreement was that a small percentage being held by a company called PAC LNG, which is the individual that the Prime Minister has referred to. Him and another number of people that remain in the shadows held a 22.5% of the somehow had acquired 22.5% of equity of that license. They had no ability to give effect to the project, and it was conditional for them to force out or sell out their shares. So if Total was paying 40% for 401 million, therefore those shares of 22.5% should have only been 225 million US. Through a deal through Oil Search and the former Prime Minister, they made an offer to that same company, not for 225 million US, they made an offer for 900 million US, almost 4 times its market value. So you may go sawe, time you plus an increase in price going up, you got kai man to stop, where people make commissions and they feed off the margins. So there is no rationale why the payment price or market price went up by 4 times. Oil Search, of course, did not have the money to procure those 22.5% for 900 million. It needed money. So MBX money lower or Papua New Guinea stop. Prime Minister, former Prime Minister stop. So they negotiated a scheme that we would get a loan for UBS to borrow 1.2 billion Australia or 900 million US, and we by Gimlo Oil Search buy their shares, and then they would have the money to be able to go through the back door. And then they paid for that 22.5% before the deal between Intoil and Total was sealed. And the minute that they acquired that 22.5%, they had backing rights in their mind, in their view, meaning that they could close out Total and they could take over the rest of the 40% because under the backing rights, once you own equity, you have first right of offer. That was the plan. And they could have only have executed that plan with the assistance of an unlawful bad deal by this government. UBS was acting also for Oil Search and also acting for us. So they had a conflict of interest, a significant conflict of interest. And this is what this report discusses. They also discuss or uncovered that the amount of excessive fees that we had to pay, over 464 million. They also noted that findings of the report that the government of Papua New Guinea made a 902 million loss, close to 1 billion, money that was supposed to go to our hospitals, supposed to go to our schools, supposed to go to our health, supposed to fund medicine. This money, no got. It went out of the country, and a bunch of foreign nationals, scam artists, benefited 4 times over, became multimillionaires because we assisted them, that government at the time. Mr. Speaker, I've noted the comments by the former Prime Minister and member for Yalibu claiming that he wasn't given the opportunity at the tribunal to give evidence or that his evidence was rejected. Actually, Mr. Speaker, in the volume 1A, it makes reference to his evidence he gave. On page 16, it says, Paragraph 3.36. The hearing of the 7th of February 2022 was the third occasion of which Mr. O'Neill appeared to give oral evidence. Mr. O'Neill had produced one piece of documentary evidence to the Commission, namely a statutory declaration dated the 3rd of June 2021. During the appearance on the 7th of February 2022, Mr. O'Neill stated that he did not wish to make any changes to that previous evidence. Apparently contradicting the statement, Mr. O'Neill produced to the Commission a response which the Commission considers to be largely an assertive of new matters. In the interest of procedural fairness and in the circumstances where Mr. O'Neill has not complied with the established rules and procedures, the Commission cannot accept untested assertions into evidence. Mr. O'Neill did not present any such evidence during his oral evidence, and when he would have been capable of doing so, nor did Mr. O'Neill seek to apply to cross-examine any witness to whom he could be put such matters. So, Mr. Speaker, the statement by the member for Yalaboo and Pangia to claim that he didn't have the opportunity, he did. He refused to exercise it. He brought a piece of paper, stat dec tasol, kam nagim evidence.
We have a point of order. Honourable Member Yalaboo.
Point of order is I don't necessarily want to disturb the minister for making his statement, but it's just again not stating the facts that he's stating the facts that he is not aware of, and what the Commission has already outlined in there quite clearly. What I referred to was very simple, that they've had a convicted witness who went in there and testified that he witnessed a meeting with a few of the people he referred to in that meeting. When I presented a statement to that particular statement by a witness, convicted witness, the Commission denied it. That's the reference that the Commission is referring me to ICAC. So, Mr. Speaker.
Order.
Mr. Speaker.
Order, wait. Honourable Minister, I am still entertaining this point of order, and you will have to wait. Let me entertain his point of order first, and then I will come to your point of order.
Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the debates from our members of Parliament, but we have established a commission of inquiry. They have gone through 30 million kina worth of documents here, plus. Well, that's what the inquiry cost. So now the members are trying to, especially the Minister for Immigration, or is it Justice still? I don't know. But that minister is trying to now mislead Parliament by stating facts he's not aware of. So he should, Mr. Speaker, read the statement fully before he makes such statements that he's trying to make. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Minister, you have another point of order. What's your point of order?
My point of order was that, firstly, if somebody stolen 3 billion kina, then you're entitled to spend 30 million kina to chase up that 3 billion kina. Now, the second point of order that I wanted to make is Mr. O'Neill has referred not just once, but several times to a convicted criminal.
Honourable Minister, can you address him as Honourable Member for Yalaboo Pangia, not Mr. O'Neill?
Okay, Honourable Member for Yalaboo Pangia has made a reference to a convicted criminal continuously. We don't know who that person is. He either has to stop using the reference to a convicted criminal or name the person, because I'm trying to figure out who that is in the context of this inquiry, and I still can't figure it out.
There's only one on the other side, on parole.
Honourable members, like I said previously, I will give opportunity, because this is an important matter for the country. I will give opportunity to all of you to debate, so you hold on there, and now I will allow the Honourable Minister to continue his debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on the issue, or the assertion, I should say, by the member for Yalaboo Pangia, in relation his claims that this transaction complied with the law. There is claims that the findings of this report, 2 volumes, never stated that it was illegal. Mr. Speaker, there is volumes of documentations and statements by the tribunal that actually says it was illegal. They were issuing documents retrospect, expediency of certificate retrospect. There is paper after paper, statement after statement that even said that it must have come to Parliament, which it never did. So, in one hand, the member for Yalbupangi is saying, I accept this document, I accept the facts in the document, and on the other hand, he's saying, no, I don't accept. So there appears to be some confusion on his part. The net effect, Mr. Speaker, is 900 million of public funds that belong to our people have been misused. And that money, or 900 million US, was channeled through a Singapore account, facilitated by Oil Search for its own gain, using our government and a prime minister at the time. And that money then channeled elsewhere. So the question I guess we need to know is, 1, whether we can recover it. If not, then we need to focus on who we can hold accountable. That's in the UBS, that's the former Prime Minister and all those people that were architects of this scheme that resulted in 1 billion kina being lost by our people. Mr. Speaker, lastly, when an ordinary Papua New Guinean on the street goes into a Chinese store and tries to steal an oxen palm because he's hungry, he is completely assaulted and belted when that Chinese man calls some police to come and arrest him for stealing an oxen palm. And yet, at the highest levels, people can steal 900 million or billions and not a single thing happens to them. When the effect of that theft results in our mothers, our kids dying for lack of medicine, for lack of medical equipment, and yet we continue to sit here like hypocrites and talk about issues about our country and making it better. Mr. Speaker, someone needs to go to jail. And that's all. Thank you.